So let's jump right in with your new proposal last week for a significant increase in efforts at global vaccination. You have proposed with your IMF colleagues that by the end of this year, in a very aggressive new program, 40% of the world's population would be vaccinated, and that by the end of 2022, at least 60% of the world's population would be vaccinated. That's obviously an ambitious goal. Tell us first the details of how that would be done, what it would cost, and who would pay the bill for it.
It is very clear that we are faced with a dangerous divergence of economic fortunes. A group of advanced economies and some emerging markets are chartering a strong recovery, and the rest of the world is falling behind. What drives the recovery? Policy actions and advancements in vaccinations and more broadly, protecting people against the pandemic. When this is lagging, the pressure on people and the economy is very severe, and the risk for the global recovery is very significant. So if we want to come on the other side of the pandemic faster for the benefits of everyone, we do need to concentrate on accelerating vaccinations everywhere. We looked at it very thoroughly, and our conclusion is it is possible, and time is not our friend. It is possible to set the target of vaccinating 40% of the population everywhere by the end of this year. We actually are more ambitious, David. We want to see 60% by mid-22. It is possible on the basis of production capacity. And the question is, what would it take to get there? First, it will take money upfront. We put a price tag on our proposal of $50 billion. We believe 35 billion should be funded by grants because we are talking primarily of low-income countries needing help, 15 by concessional finance or domestic resources. When we look at how this money should be invested, because this is an investment, we see three priorities. One, upfront financing of COVAX. This is where the world is counting on getting vaccine supplies for poor countries. Upfront commitment of vaccines that advanced economies will not use. We assess this to be about 1 billion doses or 500 million courses of vaccines just for this year. And eliminating the trade barriers for vaccines and materials to flow so we can increase the efficiency of production and distribution. Secondly, it would take us being mindful of downside risks. If there are more variants, as India has demonstrated is a danger for everyone, we might need booster shots. So we should overshoot by at least 1 billion doses and upfront fund expansion of production for that purpose. We also have to be more determined in surveying the appearance of new variants and the capacity to deal with it across the globe. Last but not least, in between, before we get vaccination stepped up, make sure that developing countries get help to prepare to receive vaccines. We have seen in a number of countries vaccines being wasted because the country is not ready to use those vaccines, and make sure that the rest of the measures we know work, like testing, contact tracing, that they are funded. So as economists, we look at it from cost-benefit balance. And it is so very obvious that 50 billion may be a lot of money, but dwarfed by the benefit for the world economy. We assess the benefit for the world between now and 2025 of accelerating vaccinations to be $9 trillion. And most importantly, this benefit is spread 60-40 between developing countries and advanced economies. In other words, rich countries benefit tremendously. Just tax revenues that wealthy countries will collect because we are accelerating the recovery of the world economy would be, in these 5 years, $1 trillion. So, David, you can imagine a group of economists scratching our heads on how come we are not more aggressively pursuing this investment that, in our view, is the best public investment with the highest return we are going to see in our lifetimes. And we are massively concerned that speed has not been sufficiently high so far.